Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about the anime, The Ambition of Oda Nobuna. Nobuna.
Oda Nobuna. Yeah, Oda Nobuna.
Yes, obviously. But before that, we were kind of recapping our entire conversation in regards to Trapped in a Dating Sim. Rick finally coming to the realization about a couple of things. Me wishing I was eating some saucy nugs. And a plethora of other things. If you want to be a part of that water conversation and hang out with us at the exact same time, you can go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will gain you access to that bonus content and more. And of course, if you want to help support us through other means, you can go to use our affiliate link for Tokyo Treats. Use coupon code featured anime, get $5 off that very first box. And trust me, the treats are delicious. I enjoy them every single time. The only thing that disappoints me is the fact that I eat them all in one sitting. If you want to get access to all that information and everything else at the exact same time, feel free to go to our website, featuredanimepodcast.com. Everything's on there, including where you can go to give recommendations on anime. And now onto the meat and brotatoes. The Ambition of Oda Nobuna is 12 episodes long. It aired from July 2012 through September 2012. A couple producers for it are Pony Canyon, ATX Hotworks, and its studios are Madhouse and Studio Gokumi. It's based off of a light novel, and the genres are action, comedy, romance, historical, and I will say time travel, because that's literally what it is, time traveling.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically, the story is basically a reimagined twist on Japanese history, specifically during the Warring States period, or Sengoku. Here's where things kind of really take a twist in regards to it, versus Oda Nobunaga, a famed feudal war during the time of Japan trying to unite it. It's instead Nobuna, and all the main pivotal key characters' roles throughout the entire anime are actually gender swapped. You have our main protagonist, Sagara, who is taking the role of one of the pivotal people that actually helped Nobunaga throughout that entire warring period, and he is instead using his memories and knowledge, not necessarily of the time travel and during the time period, but more so from the fact that he played a lot of strategic games that revolve around that time period to help put himself in a better position, or at least Nobuna in a better position through that entire warring period. And this is his journey with her throughout that process in conquering other warring states and growing in power to unite Japan eventually. With
greater sights according to the rest of the world too.
Yes. Now, Studio, just to kind of give you guys an idea about Studio and why this anime looks pretty familiar and has some familiar feels to it. Studio Gokumi and Madhouse. Madhouse is well known for its animes in Death Notes and One Punch Man, and Gokumi has kind of like a more of a newer portfolio and is largely known for slice of life and fantasy anime. So I feel like that's probably why that they really kind of focused on this one together and worked on it. Pony Canyon, ATX, and TNO Entertainment and whatnot, they're really largely known for their Pony Canyon's actually really largely known for their music in the anime realm. So, which explains why that they really had decent music throughout, because every time there's a Pony Canyon in the producers for it, music tends to be pretty spot on most of the time.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. I really can't speak to any of the other stuff you just said because you go hard in the analytics, which I appreciate, but I can't remember anybody else associated with them.
For studio, what do you mean? It's like
for the music, Pony Canyon.
Yeah. Pony Canyon's in regards to the music because they're a producer, but the studio Madhouse, I feel like you would know greatly.
Yes.
All right.
Well, Madhouse. Whenever you hear Madhouse, Omniplex, or
Aniplex.
there's a G one, Aniplex. There's a G one, Gizmodo. No, not Gizmodo.
Gonzo.
Gonzo. Yeah, Gonzo. Whenever you hear those, you know you're in for a visual treat. And yeah, this one, I can't say it was visually pleasing 100% of the time. It was, at least for me, it seemed like it was mediocre until the end, but they had a lot of fast-paced stuff in the end. So I think that's kind of why I was more drawn to the shonen fighting styles and stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas everything else was more 4D chess kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll say this. In terms of the show and everything else, it was a decent show. It was good. It was entertaining for what it was. However, there were certain points or certain aspects of it where it felt like they tried it too hard in regards to the comedy portion of it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like they tried really hard to give it a feel or give it a focus that really wasn't there, right? And it just made it that much worse, in my opinion.
Well, okay, so this was going to be
not bad, not worse. Let me clarify real quick. Not worse in, this was a complete trash anime. It detracted from the show. Yeah, it could have been done better. It detracted from the show as a whole.
So essentially, this is just and you might have said this already. It was just basically a gender swap.
Yes. And
instead of Nobunaga, Oda Nobunaga, who was a very famous person in Japanese history, right, at least I think he is. They put it. He went from a middle-aged, almost elderly man to a tween girl, maybe 17, 18, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everyone ended up being in the same age range. Every female, what would you even call? They're not protagonists. They end up being part of his harem.
Yeah, the generals.
Like, what would they be? The love interests? Would that be what you would call them?
Yes. Yeah. One of the themes for this is harem. So definitely a harem for sure.
Well, not a harem in the sense that you would think that you, when it comes to your mind, because this one's more along the lines of all the girls kind of go after him, but he actually goes after one of them. Just one. He's got his eyes set for one.
Yeah, but I can't exactly agree with that wholeheartedly, largely because he fantasizes, thinks about, and goes after the other ones as well at the exact same time. Not as hard as the one, but he's got his eyes on the others as well.
Okay.
And he is not bashful about
at all.
Yeah,
at all. So. He is 2 shades away from straight up perv. But he's, for lack of a better way to put it, this is how it would play if I was to go back, if I got teleported back and all of the important people that were going to be in the world ended up being hot chicks. This is exactly how I would end up playing it, because I would be like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. But because I predicted this, and this, and I was like, oh no, we want to save this person because they're a really good strategist. And I don't want to lose this person because they'd be a fantastic ally. But in my history, the history I know, they were supposed to die. They were supposed to no longer be there. They were supposed to serve their function and be a distraction and, oof.
Yeah.
But because of the changes that he had made, his knowledge became faulty.
Well, it's not that it became faulty. It just wasn't truly accurate to what it was, because he had the future knowledge. And so they would either avoid or do something else in counter to that because they knew he knew it, or he would guide them away from it. And there were certain things or certain aspects in which, it was called out on because this person lived, this one thing changes. However, his knowledge in general, in and of itself, was faulty to begin with, in that when he time travels back to an alternate history, keyword alternate history, all the main pivotal characters are all gender swapped. And so none of the individuals who are key figures, at least a majority of them that are men, are now all women. You also have kind of like this magical, mystical style side to it too at the exact same time.
Yeah, there were demons, I think. I say I think because I there was one chick who turns into butterflies, and I don't know what she is, because you also have ninjas who like
disappear in thin air.
Yeah, I was gonna say apparition. It's a Harry Potter term that I can't remember right now. But basically, yeah, they fold into themselves and then poof, done. And then they fold out of themselves and they show up wherever they want, and they can teleport like like the fourth Hokage of the ninja of Naruto, just anywhere they want to go, just zoop, 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 instant teleportation, mid attack, throw stuff there, teleport in time to catch it 100 or so feet away, and they threw it with power. So yeah, just again shonen-esque fighting. I genuinely wished that our main character, our main protagonist, was slightly more
smart.
Not even smart, but just, and manly's not the right term either, but more bold, more brave, because he gets hit in the arm with a shuriken, and all of a sudden this is like he's on death's door, and you're like, really? One shuriken on your arm.
To be fair, you have to remember, man. He grew up in the rough side of town, and his mom sent him back in time to protect him because he was getting picked on by everyone, and because of his weak constitution and
that's exactly it. I wish he had a better constitution. I wish he had a better body. Essentially, like he went back there in the middle of a war, essentially, right? And his first instinct isn't to, increase my stamina because I'm going to be running a lot. He can't fight. He goes up and he's like, I'm going to protect you. With what? Well, I guess I'm going to die here holding a pretty lady.
Well, he's going to go protect her by being all that he can be.
Episode 1, like 2-3 minutes in.
Yeah, he's going to protect him by being all that he can be.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. A skewer. That's what he can be.
And that's okay. I accept his sacrifice. I'm willing to take his sacrifice.
Oh man. Yeah. And I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's just divine providence, but that phone that he had, he had a smartphone that he just decided to, again, episode 1, he defends against a charging samurai with
it's the very beginning, and then his phone dies. The thing is,
I forgot to charge it.
What's crazy is that no matter what happens, he's always has that phone with him. It's not going to help him until a plot battery power comes into play.
Yes.
But even then,
ounce of juice.
Yeah, it's I don't know. He carries it with him, and everyone acts, and he acts like it's the end all be all. He's always looking at it. He's always holding it. He's probably just going, man, I really wish I could Google what to do right now
exactly
to help me get through this
fire.
How do I fire a bow? How do I become more manly? What can I do to help improve my stature? It
makes perfect sense. How to get girls in feudal Japan, Edo era Japan,
right? And during the warring periods, what's the best way to charm the female general / leader of a clan so that way I don't get murdered at the exact same time? Oh, by the way,
Wait, what?
this person says multiple times, everyone that I love ends up dying.
Yeah.
So I don't love you, because if I say I don't love you, you're obviously going to live.
Yeah,
Right?
logic everywhere.
Logic.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things that you'd probably Google how to be outstanding enough to be noticed, but not enough to be sent to the front lines.
Well, what he did was he read Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon first, and then got transported in time back, and he's like, I don't have to be the strongest guy in the world. I just got to be awesome. How do you be awesome and not the strongest guy? Is it relevant to the matter? But you know what? It's only going to matter if I actually, I don't know, do something amazing and magnificent. And then I'm going to act like I'm dying because I got nicked in the arm, and I'm going to nearly pass out. Because why? I can. I mean, obviously, that was all part of his plan to make Nobuna fall in love with him and make him feel truly magnificent, truly indebted to him. Oh, I got hurt for you, and I'm on death's door. So that way you have to fall in love with me now. You got to fall in love with me. Oh, yeah. I mean, am I wrong in that?
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And I... some of the ones that fall in love with him, like, he goes, I want a wife. And he talks to, like, his landlord. And he's like, I've got the perfect girl for you. He goes, bring her on. Let's take a look at it. She's 4 or 5.
She's like, it's like 10.
10? Okay. The animation made her look way younger, like preschool stuff. He goes, not even my age bracket.
Right? Yeah, I think they did actually specify an age for her.
Oh,
I hope they specified older than what I'm thinking it is.
Well, no, people die young.
Well, I mean, early, okay, so to be fair, right? It takes place during the Sengoku period, which
wait. The Son Goku period?
Sengoku.
Okay. I was going to say, I didn't realize that was an era.
Yes. Obviously, that is it. The Son Goku, not Sengoku. Yeah. It's Goku period.
From now on.
It's the Warring States period.
I like it better. Son Goku. It's the Son Goku period from now on.
Just hope everyone realizes that is not my fault that he is going to say Son Goku from now on. I just want to point that out.
But you're going to know what I mean. You're going to know what I mean. And it is in the utmost respect and praise, because I like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's good to know. I'm glad we've clarified that for everyone.
Were you able to find the age?
Nope. No. And I'm not going to dig that deep into it. It's not anywhere easily accessible. I'm not invested enough into it to try and find out. So that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. Don't want that Google search.
I looked up a couple different things. Didn't see anything.
Didn't come up.
Didn't come up. Didn't talk about it even. So that's where we're leaving it.
Fair enough.
I mean, given my luck, it's probably for the best.
I was going to say probably one click away.
Yeah.
Now, did you happen to take a look and see all the female love interests?
Mm-hmm.
They were all very prominent figures. I was going to say popular, but they're all very prominent, important figures. If my memory is correct, and it is flawed beyond all recognition, I'd like to point that out.
Yeah.
But he's saving people that were supposed to be dead, and he's making allies out of people who were supposed to be enemies, with little to no repercussion. Well, he's making enemies. Like he's taking these people as allies, and they're revealing hidden enemies. So it's not like something you're gonna expect to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's this big bad dude. One of the... Okay, so this isn't really a spoiler, but it kind of is. but I think it's really, really, really cool. One of the guys, so there's a goal at some point in time in the anime that they're like, we have to kill the monkey, and that's his nickname. And all of his allies come together and they're like, we got to save him. One of the dudes just straight up baller moves, takes this massive spear to the stomach, and then in the middle of being skewered, grips the handle, and he goes, even if I die, I'm not letting go. You're not going to get my boss. And then the warrior who had skewered him says something to the effect of, you're too good a warrior for the Oda clan, and leaves him the spear. And then there's this iconic picture as they're walking away. He leaves the spear in his hands. He died on his feet. It was freaking awesome. That's probably one of my favorite, if not my most favorite part of the show. And it wasn't super flashy. It wasn't super like action packed. It was just,
yeah,
that particular scene was written so well. And it was only like 5 or 6 seconds. It wasn't even something massive, but the tidbit in there just really stood out to me. And it was really, really cool.
Yeah, no, they definitely, for some of it, they definitely wrote it really, really well. They did massive justice for the characters and the writing and how they're having to interact and how they're having to move forward with everything else. The writing is spot on for some of it. Then for some of it, not so much, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I just have trouble understanding is I want to like at the beginning, fairly close to the beginning, he goes through his normal, what looks to be his normal process in game, right? Banking on it being real to the economy of that world to generate massive wealth, right?
Yeah. I don't know about you. 100%. That's yes. I don't know why he stopped doing that.
Yeah. At the very beginning, he didn't even need to buy all the rice that he was told he needed to. He could have bought some and could have continued on generating massive wealth and then buying everything else. Like he could have gone through and basically single-handedly ended the anime with next to no casualties by buying everything out.
Yeah. No, since you put it, there's one spot in this anime where they're like, you need 120,000, whatever their currency is. And he turned 3,000 into what? In 1 week, he turned $3,000 of their currency into like 26,000. Something nuts like that. He had enough to purchase 3 things of rice, or what I think 3 tons of rice or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 3,000, whatever it was for the rice. And instead he comes back with 80,000 or something like that. Just like some astronomical number. He had so much money. He had money for days and he blows it all on rice for this one thing when he literally could have continued to generate massive wealth, make a whole bunch of money, and half the problems that they ran into, half the issues that they ran into could have easily been solved. The knowledge that avoidable. He used immediately for certain situations, or when he was put in a particular situation, he goes, I'll use this for myself because they're going to use it anyways in the future. So I'll just accelerate it right now. Like you could have done that at the very beginning. You could, there's a lot of stuff in there where you're watching it and you're like, okay, I understand he wants to try and hold the timeline, but then he completely blows it away, obliterates it, moves past it, or just ignores it outright. And it's at that point you're going, well, why didn't he do that beforehand? Why didn't he do all that further in the past or at the very beginning and would have saved a ton of lives? It would have stopped so many conflicts or gone through and done so much more.
Done so much more good.
That's my biggest thing with the guy is that it's not that he didn't do things. He did them. He just waited for a different more ridiculous time.
Another step up, essentially.
Basically, he could have easily just been like, hey, I will tell you how to win. I'll tell you how to go through and do all this. I'll tell you how to do all this extra stuff and just like back it up. Instead, he's being an idiot. And I get it. He's a teenager, you know, and everyone else there, they're all teenagers. And instead of everyone being like true adults and everything else, they're all teenagers. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But that doesn't mean you can't use your noggin a little bit.
Doesn't excuse ignorance, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes. All right. I'm off my soapbox. I don't have too much more I can say.
Unfortunately, I'm right there with you. Again, without giving too much away, there's not much you can else. There's not much else.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some pivotal key moments. There are some points in there where you're watching it and it's pretty cool, or it's interesting, or they take a different view, and it's entertaining for what it is. But largely, it's when you're watching it, you'll either feel one way or another about it. Is my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I agree with that. So,
on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
For me, this one's gonna have to go with. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's very middling for me. I'm going to give it a 6. It's not bad in any stretch of the imagination. 6 is never bad. It's not something I would actively go out of my way to watch again. And it's not something that I'd be like, you know what you could use? You could use a little bit of this. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It had a really good scene, really touching scene. It had some really nice fight scenes sprinkled throughout. The music was just wonderful. But they could have done a whole lot more with the story than they did.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like the last 10 seconds to the last episode. Very open-ended, they had an opportunity to give it bookends and they didn't.
Yes. I agree with you 100%.
No season 2.
I agree with you 100%.
There's no season 2, so.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And you, sir?
I'm going to give it a 5, middle of the road, for largely all the reasons that we just talked about. And the fact that it's a completely open ending and they just fumbled it big time. And I get it. Like, they give the hint of it being, a season 2 on the horizon or whatever, but it really, honestly, it's been 12 years. I don't think we're getting a season 2.
Yeah. Season 2 might be it's just around the river bend.
Right. Yeah, no. So next week we are watching Immoral Guild, which is another recommendation by Jeb. So if you feel like we did too much justice, not enough justice, got things right, things wrong, missed the mark, or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us, let us know. All our contact information and everything like that's available in our show notes, as well as on our website at featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.